Alexa, lower volume a little bit, please. How you guys doing, man? This is gonna be a quick video on a fair warning on Netflix. If you have not yet invested in this company, I am not going to want to get sued or anything, but I don't see this stock recovering at the moment, especially with things going on in the world right now. And I'll give you a couple hints why. If you're holding shares, well, I hope this video helps you. If you're willing to buy shares at the moment, this might help you. If you feel that you're gaining, you're winning, maybe you've been holding this for a long time, I highly advise you to keep watching this video. Now, if we look at Netflix, before we start this video, in the sense of why I keep thinking this thing is going to keep dropping, we have to look at this from the year's graph of 2025. So we can definitely see that in April, the stock did outstanding, giving a nice whooping 10% that initiated a great leg up, nice and steady, climbing towards June, giving a nice 16-20% for that high of $134, which, if you guys don't remember or you don't know, Netflix had a 10-1 split in November of this year, which we can say started around here, which you can say was at a high of 113, low of 107, had a nice little startup leg at November 6th to the 12th, reaching a high of 116 when the highest was 113 for late October to the early of November, giving a nice little 5% change there, which after that, everything went sideways, straight red. I see more red than green, and the green I see is the smallest candle from that entire start of that red sequence from the year's side. If you looked at this from a 3-month scale, which is literally when it all went down, split happened around November, and it started declining around mid-November. Also on December, Netflix had an article released that they're going to be buying the Warner Brothers. Trump told them that, hey, listen, I highly advise you not to buy the Warner Brothers, which is in December 25. If you look at this from November 25, you can definitely see that in the beginning of November, things were looking pretty nice, got up to a high. The highest of December was 109, which if you look at this from the 10-1 split, that's kind of where we were kind of fighting towards before we had that nasty leg down to the 105s, and we didn't see the 109s until the start of December, which quickly became a sell-off. I'm talking about Warner Brothers news came out, this thing hasn't stopped dropping. And if you look at this from a 1-month scale, I definitely see more red candles, and they're much bigger, meaning there might be more selling, there might be more fear, there might be more Sally, there might be more diving. Now, things could turn around pretty quickly. Some big, nice, really massive news might come out, and this thing might jump 10, 15, 20, 30%, and hey, it is what it is. Or you can maybe look outside the box, look at this from a week scale. That is a nasty leg. I'm talking about this thing was at $94 and dropped down to $1. So give or take, that is nearly a 5% takedown. If you look at it from today's date, which is January 6th, we had another massive nasty leg, which it took about, believe it or not, 2%. But 2% adding up with this 4%, you can say 4%. Adding it from a month, you can see that there is a small and steady decline. All right, you might have some little pops here and there, but it's really looking like it just keeps going down. If you look at it from this top to this top to this top, then to this top, this is just declining. Okay, and looking at it from today's, I didn't see nothing bullish. And believe it or not, guys, with the whole Taiwan, China, US taking out Venezuela for full control, there's one thing you guys have to note, that Netflix, which I already said, Netflix did the 10-1 split, but very, very nasty. In the 10-1 split, guys, that happened in November, if you guys really look at this stock got to the highest of $117 per share. So that means this stock was pushing nearly $1,200 a share. And whoever hold on to the shares got 10 extra ones. And if doesn't matter if you hold whatever they gave you, it's still the same bag you have. It's just now you have a little bit more because they're worth less. That's all it really comes down to. But no matter what, if the share price goes down, no matter how many you have, your bag is gonna go down. And from 116 highest to now nearly $90, you dropped 20% in of a matter of 2 months. 2 months out of the year, you still got 10 more months to go, and it's not looking that well. Okay, especially when you look at Netflix, with the whole China and US, you have to really look down. I watch Netflix, and a lot of the time I see a lot of Asian movies, and I'm not trying to, this is one of the reasons why I highly believe that Netflix is gonna have a problem, and this is one of them, is Netflix is mostly not Chinese content, but it's a significant and growing library of Chinese language shows and films. Meaning Netflix is literally dedicating itself more to movies made in China, made in those countries, which personally my mother, who's nearly 56 years old, she has Netflix, and she's always watching some Korean Chinese film. I'm not trying to say that if you watch Chinese or you have Chinese that's bad, but how the world is and how the stock market works, this can be more sell-offs in a small scale, but can still affect the long term or that short term, right? Long term, the company's doing great. They're winning, especially with the Stranger Things season 5. Later on, they're gonna probably come out with how much they made just from Stranger 5 in the season 5. In the next quarter, who knows what, in 2026, in the beginning, whatever. So you definitely want to buy these shares, but at the moment, is it a good moment? I don't think so. Especially that Trump warned Netflix about buying Warner. Now, I do remember, yes, Donald Trump warned that Netflix acquisition of Warner could be a problem due to a massive combined market share, hinted at his investment in the approval process, raising an antitrust concern over the proposed $72 billion deal. All right. So, as we all know, Warner Brothers have a lot of debt, which I'm sure that Netflix will be able to pay for, but it's a lot of spending, and that can always cause when the papers has to come out, how much you spent, how much you made on the quarters, that, believe it or not, might cause some damage to the price action, which is currently being dipped now, meaning that short term and long term, this stock can be held accountable for that. Long term, this is gonna keep growing, but on a mid-short term, that's what I'm really trying to say, we might still see some decline, especially from Donald Trump. This is like bad news, believe it or not, from his company. This is bad news. I really do hope this thing grows, but I have been in stocks. I've held stocks for a year, 2 years, waiting for to get my money back, which I did. But you have to make sure it's a company that you know they're gonna come back with a fight, not stocks that are in pennies and they're in depth. You want to make sure there's no debt. They're buying companies. That's a green light for long term. Which, if things go back short term, you can always held back on late. So looking at it from a 5-year scale, the stock is only up 70%. From a max scale, when they started in 2010, you can definitely see a lot of happy people. Now, from a 5-year scale, I definitely could still see some nice movement. If we look at it from the real total high, which was this April, was 135, what I said, or 1,300 from that before the 10-1 split, nearly 1,400 per share. That's a nice good sum, right? Very good sum. So, hey, 25% from our highs, right? Where it goes, 52-week highs, 134, right? Market cap is amazing. All right, but the lowest from the 52 weeks is 82, and 82 from 90 is not that far. So I definitely will see some new 52 weeks low. Alrighty, guys, be safe.